All right, guys, and we are back for another Functional Life podcast. We are back because I'll say that this is the second attempt on this beautiful podcast that we're trying to.
Some things are better second time around.
You know it, absolutely.
Jaws.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Some would argue Star Wars.
Yeah, I feel like.
Empire Strikes Back.
I don't know though. I feel like the third one was probably the best one.
You're
Return
right.
of the Jedi.
And I really don't want to do a third one of these.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep doing them, but
Right.
not the same.
But not the same stuff over and over again.
Right.
So I'm Coach Kirby. Sorry, or Matthew. You can call me Matthew Kerbell, Coach Kirby. You guys see it on the cup right there. Kirby, right there. Can you see it?
Is that Batman or is it Kirby?
That's. I mean, you never see us in the same place at the same time. So, I am. So.
Coach Kirby's our head coach here, and I guess a mainstay for the evening classes. I would say that if you work out from noon forward, you can't really do that here without knowing who you are.
You're going to see me. Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Also won 2017 Functional Fitness Coach of the Year. Is that right?
That's right. Thank you, Will. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's an award we give out. It's a good job.
Thank you.
Our gym did really well with that last year. I think we had 3 or 4 coaches in the top 5.
I think we swept, didn't we?
Nationwide.
Yeah.
We did.
That's good.
It's
quality.
Yeah, hopefully we can follow it up next year with another big win.
I think we can.
I'm proud of you. What are we doing today? Is this like a...
But we're doing a little question answer, a little Q&A.
Rapid fire Q&A?
Yeah.
Where do we... I think we got these... Is this like a culmination of questions we've gotten from social media and...
Instagram.
Members.
And some members, yep.
Just general fitness questions and... Cool. Well, let's go. I'm ready, man. What do you got?
All right. Well, first off, Synergy, a community, fitness community. It doesn't really say anything about CrossFit. So the first question would be, is Synergy a CrossFit gym?
Yeah, I mean we are. The answer is, yes.
Okay.
We are a CrossFit affiliate. We don't necessarily lead with that anymore for a couple of different reasons, but we don't hide from it either. I like to. That means it means a lot to us to be a part of that bigger community, and at the same time, I like to think that we are all the best parts of CrossFit without all the silliness.
I got you.
So, if you want to know more about what that means, come talk to us. I guess.
There we go.
Yep.
Second one. So if we are a CrossFit gym, why is CrossFit so expensive? Because most people are saying, I can't afford CrossFit.
Yeah.
It's not for me right now. Let me get in shape first, and then I'll do CrossFit because then I can, justify spending that extra money to be able to get what I really want to get out of it. Yeah.
So here's the thing on that. CrossFit's free. Functional fitness is free, right?
Yeah.
It's like. You can go to CrossFit.com right now, and there'll be a workout up there posted that they wrote for you that you could, borrowing if you had the equipment, or you could probably even modify it with stuff you could find around the house and do it. None of that has ever had a cost to it. Nutrition is free. You don't need a nutrition. What you put in your mouth, you control that every day.
For sure.
CrossFit gyms, functional fitness gyms, cost money, right? So when we're now that's different. If we're talking about coaching, we're talking about perfecting and getting better at movement. We're talking about programming. We're talking about accountability. We're talking about community. We're talking about access to nice equipment and those sort of things. Now that carries with it a cost, obviously.
For sure.
And the line we always joke about and use is that there's a Mercedes costs more than a Kia. Yeah. So certainly there's gyms out there that are cheaper, and there's places out there that aren't as cheap. Right. And there are places out there that aren't cheap at all. And we certainly don't want to associate the word cheap with us whatsoever.
Right.
We're not cheap. But we also like to think we're the Mercedes. So I'll leave it at that. Okay. CrossFit's free. Fitness is free. Don't think otherwise. You don't need money to start doing this.
Right.
You really, really don't. So.
And a lot of people forget about CrossFit.com and then putting actual workout up every day for you to be able
go
to
check out other gyms. I think Invictus. There's several people. I know Ben still puts his stuff. There's gyms all over the nation that put great stuff out there for free every day.
Yeah.
And if you have just a few things at home, or good access to a park with some monkey bars or whatever, you could probably follow pretty closely to the prescribed programming, and not even within CrossFit. You can look up running workouts. You can look up calisthenic workouts. There's probably free yoga YouTube, and go to YouTube and look up the workout. There's ways to do this. So
you just got to be a little inventive and kind of come up with your own kind of equipment. Maybe using a bag instead of a bar or something like that. Cool. All right. Number 3, if you could only do one movement for exercise, what would it be? So I guess that holy grail of movements.
Yeah. So mean, I don't know which way to attack this. Like, if I could only do one movement for me, or what I would say the right answer would be for most people, I can give you I think the right answer that we all know that's been talked about, at least within our sort of community, is, there's a movement we have here that we call the thruster, or you could even call it like a squat. You could add like a squat clean cluster thruster, whatever you want to call it. And if you look at all the measurements of a fitness movement, it probably is the perfect movement. And for people that are watching or listening and don't know, that's basically you take an object, you pick it up to your shoulders, you pass through a squat. So you do a squat with that object, and then as you come up from the squat, you also press it over your head.
Okay.
And so when you look at something like that, the bigger answer to the question is, if you could only do one movement, I think you would try to find a movement that hits as many facets of fitness as possible. So something that addresses speed and power and endurance and flexibility and balance and all these kind of what we call the 10 components of fitness. A thruster could do that, right? I mean, you could do a lot of them really lightweight, cardio workout, endurance workout. You could do a few of them very heavy for strength. You could, throw, they're versatile. You could do it with dumbbells, a barbell, a big heavy ball. I mean, pretty much do it with anything. And so that, if you look at like power output and all the other measurements, that's probably the best movement ever invented for fitness. And I don't think we invented it. I don't think that's a CrossFit necessarily movement. We do a lot of them, but it's just something that's been around. Now, that being said, I hate them. So that's not what I would pick. If you're asking me, I would do the rest of my life if I only did one movement.
It would not be a thruster.
No, I would probably, then the question would become, would you even do a workout at all, or would you just avoid it? Because I for several reasons, I don't like them. But, like, I love rowing in another way. I think for me, like, I like rowing. I'm built well for it. It's sitting down, so it's a little bit lazy, I guess, but it is.
I would rather do a marathon row than a marathon run.
Or a marathon of thrusters.
Or a marathon of thrusters.
So there's that for me. And I mean, I get that requires a little equipment. I mean, rowers are expensive. But again, you got the same sort of thing. You hit a lot of pieces of fitness. You've got a push and a pull. So you've got that lower body stimulus. You've got that upper body.
And great cardio.
Great cardio. Maybe you would miss out on some of the strength components. You can't really make a row heavy, so to speak. Right. So you miss out some of that. But it does, moves most major joints of your body through their full range of motion. So still an equally beautiful movement. So I'd probably pick something a little bit like that. Something I could watch TV while I did it.
Okay.
I don't know. What about you? What would you pick?
I would probably have to pick burpee. Because I'm a little crazy. I like burpees.
That's crazy.
Well, if you think about the positions that the body's going through, you get the squat, you get that push up, then you get a little jump, so you get a little calisthenics, right? Jump training. So maybe we combine it with a pull up, maybe burpee pull up, maybe burpee muscle up.
So now you're using two movements.
Yeah, well, I guess so. Okay. I guess so. A combined movement.
I see.
Maybe a combined movement.
So you actually enjoy burpees?
I do. I like them.
You heard it here
Not
first.
too bad.
You're first, guys.
I am a little lower to the ground than Will is, so I feel like a burpee would probably suit me a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I know. I didn't like them to begin with.
The bigger point of the question is that, though. I mean, I don't know if it's a joke of a question or what it is, but obviously no one's going to probably ever have to do one movement for the rest.
For sure.
But I think the bigger overarching theme is what kind of movements and exercises should we be seeking for fitness? And it is what we talked about. It's something that large range of motion uses a lot of your joints, multi-muscular, compound movements. Something that's very versatile. You can use with a variety of different equipment or no equipment at all. That is literally functional fitness. Like, that's what makes something functional. Yeah. So these are all, I think, great ideas. And so the heart of the question is a cool one. Something we could probably talk more about. But
all right, moving on. What's the worst piece of fitness advice you've ever seen? So I don't know, maybe something that you maybe saw on Instagram or at a Globo gym, something to those terms.
I don't know. I mean, there's just, where do I start? I don't even know. It'd probably be whatever I saw on Facebook last night. Okay. Like, whatever it is. I mean, there's just so much. I really believe that our business is, industry, I guess you could call it, is littered with more snake oil and false information and bro science than maybe any other industry in the world right now.
A multi-billion-dollar industry on just diet.
People
alone,
trying
right?
to sell you anything and teach you anything and tell you anything to make a buck, and it's disappointing. Look, I understand it on the one side of it there is a business. This is an industry.
For sure.
So professionals in this business have to make a living too. And business is an art. It is. Yeah. There's an art to selling. There's an art to marketing. There's an art to all this. But I've said this to people in our industry recently. I've made this argument. Business might be an art, but exercise is still a science.
For sure.
Literally, you could get a PhD in exercise science.
Right.
There's science behind it. And it's almost as if everybody in our industry has just abandoned the science altogether and is just ready to run towards the next quick fix, the next get-rich-quick scheme or whatever. So, I mean, there's been so much bad advice on buy this supplement or do this detox or do this 30-day thing or buy this piece of magical equipment.
That's going to all of a sudden you turn around and be shredded.
Right, so where do you start? I mean, it's what we do conceptually isn't that hard. You've got to do work. You've got to work out and train and eat right and sleep right and recover. And it's just like it's the stuff that has been around. It's not flashy. It's not sexy. It's not fun.
You mean there's nothing I can just take a pill or buy a piece of gym equipment and then turn around the next 30 days and be shredded? You mean that's not the way it works?
I got something in the back of my car that we'll talk about after this.
Oh, okay.
I want to get you in on the ground level. It's going to be great.
All right, cool,
yeah.
cool.
No, I don't know. It's just so much crap out there. I don't even know where to start. Yeah, okay. Really.
That's the way it is out there, honestly. Let's see. Number 5. If you could give someone one simple nutrition tip that works for everybody, what would it be? That's a hard one in itself because what works for one person might not work for the other. But I guess in terms of nutrition, something that would kind of like touch all the bases.
Yeah. One simple piece of advice. So, we talk about nutrition, so much here. This would be a whole other episode of this. Probably we could go on about, and there's so many facets to it. But it would go back to that science. Like, what is the real science of nutrition? That would do something that does work for everybody, literally. We harp on things like knowing your food intake, tracking how much you eat. I'd probably simplify it down to something along, I think Michael Pollan in his work, he's got some little saying that's, eat real food, not too much.
Okay.
Eat the right amount of it, and, mostly plants or something like that. So you have a lot of vegetables and plants in that. But that, that's kind of got 3 pieces. Maybe it's not so simple.
It's not so simple as just like eating at one place one day every day for the rest of your life.
It'd probably be along those lines. If I said one thing that works for everybody, like if you wanted to just a quick fix you could implement in your life right now, I would say it would probably be for me, only eat what you make at home.
Okay.
In other words, quit eating out.
Yeah.
That would help so many people if they had to just prepare the food they ate at home and ate that and not eating out. It'd be that, or it'd maybe be tied for me with don't drink any calories.
Okay.
So that's a big one too, a hidden thing. So I'm talking about anything from sodas to juices to alcohol.
For sure.
You cut those things out. Assuming that, again, people's goals, most people, is to lose weight and that sort of thing. It'd be probably one of those 2 things. Quit eating out altogether. Just eat only things that you make at home. You grocery shop.
And you control what you're putting in your food.
You know what you're getting then.
Exactly.
Or quit drinking calories. Those are my 2 simple pieces of advice. But we'll talk. I guess maybe we talk more about it. This is great. It's a great question.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go over what's the best diet? That's one of the questions here. What's the best diet? That's very broad in terms of diets. Making sure you're eating every day based off of your own diet, has so many different explanations for each person. Yep. Diet really meaning, your lifestyle in general. Right. So to say to somebody, what's the best diet? I mean, again, a very hard question, something we could probably go into another podcast with. But would if somebody came to you through the doors today and said, Will, I want to get, fitter, but I know it starts with nutrition. Yeah. What do you, again, along the lines of the question we just asked, a nutrition tip for me, what's the best diet?
Yeah, and I, like you touched on, I think the lingo itself is perhaps bad in the question because what I would want to quit using the word diet. Yeah. Because diet kind of has a negative connotation on its own. It kind of makes us immediately think of something that's temporary or that is restrictive. We take people down a path typically of the opposite of that, of quit. I would say 90% of, quote, diets that are marketed to or sold or books written about or Netflix documentaries are diets that are what we call restrictive diets that tell you what not to eat. Yeah. And from the very beginning, it kind of puts a negative tone in your head about it. I think the more important thing, how many successful diets out there do you know of that actually tell you what to eat, and more importantly, how much of that to eat? That'd be my first thing, is a diet that is not restrictive, but is giving you the freedom to eat as long as it's in control.
Okay.
We do tracking food, that sort of thing, but it's about food budgeting in another way. But then the other side of it is, it's got to be something that does turn into a lifestyle, something that's sustainable, something that's what we would again call functional, right? So I can't personally stand every diet, Whole30, 7-day detox, 21-day challenge, 6 week.
What are you going to do after that?
Right. From the very beginning, it's like you're telling me this is temporary.
Yeah.
The start of what can we have in this world that we do for 7 days and expect to have long-term success with it? Like, that just doesn't make sense. So from the very beginning, it needs to be a diet that's not a short-term thing. It's a lifestyle that we can actually change the way we approach nutrition and attack it for the rest of our lives. So again, if it's something that someone's trying to sell you on DVD or a book, or you saw it on a Netflix documentary, or your friend is trying to sell you on Facebook, probably not going to work for you. Probably need to get someone to help you learn about nutrition, help you learn, again, the real science behind it and why we make it into a lifestyle. So, I would start there and kind of go down that road.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good advice. Along those lines, if somebody came to you, hey, Will, what supplements do you take? What do you think I should take for me? I know that's also a very, hard question to answer there. But, I guess along the lines of, are you tired, or, do you feel like you need more energy, or do you feel like something's lacking in your diet that you might be able to get through a pill? What would you say to that?
Again, it's going to be, it's not sexy news here, but there's supplement, the word itself should tell you that it's the way we approach supplementation here and talk about it is we start it with nothing. Like, the idea of a supplement is to supplement something that you're not getting from your diet. So if you can get through regular nutrition from the foods you eat, from the recovery from your sleep, from your stress, if you can manage all these other things naturally in your life, perhaps you don't need anything. And until you know what you need and what your body needs, why spend any money? Why take that? Have you been? You taking vitamin B12? Have you ever been tested? Have you had your vitamin B levels checked?
Probably not.
Right. Do you even know that you need that?
Yeah.
Like, it's like you can see something again on the internet, like, oh, this has got. Like, I remember the CoQ10 or whatever thing was huge. Like, oh, we don't. We get less than 1% from our natural diet. Well, do you realize that we even need that? Like, is there something in your body that says you're deficient in this, and something is harming you? Your life is worse because you're not getting that. So that's the way we approach it. And again, I can't answer that question without knowing the individual. But if you have trouble getting the adequate amount of protein that's optimal for you, is a protein supplement applicable there? Perhaps, perhaps not. If you have trouble sleeping, is melatonin something that could help? Perhaps, perhaps not. Are there other ways you could address that?
For sure. Maybe take out caffeine.
Take out caffeine. Could you wind down at night, have a different bedtime routine? I mean, always attack it from the natural way first, I think. And then if there's something that just because of your lifestyle that you are deficient in, first of all, find that out. Don't just buy something because you saw it online, you saw it on Facebook, and someone's trying to sell it to you.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Like, you probably don't need it. So
probably end up going and peeing it right out.
You probably do. You're probably literally peeing out your money more often than not. So, again, kind of the anti-answer there, but it's the way I feel about it.
No, that's what you're going to get here. You're going to get that honesty.
I personally take very little. If anybody wonders, like, I guess I sort of do this for a living. I do use a protein supplement to hit protein numbers when I can't eat enough of it.
For sure. It's always good to have something in your back pocket because, you can't always have that meal where you sit down and have a full course meal.
Outside of that, Kirby, I'll do a pre-workout if I'm tired and want to work out, and a pre-workout's really just caffeine. There's nothing. I could drink coffee or something too, but for me, that's pretty much it. Okay. I don't know. Not much to it.
All right, moving from there. How many days per week should I train? So I guess we're looking at minimum. How many days per week should I train minimally?
Yeah. Again, it's something that's hard to have a right answer. Here, it's also dependent upon maybe what you do, what kind of training you do. For what we do, my magic number I start people with, I say, is 3. I think you need to commit to it 3 days a week. If you can bump that up eventually to 4, even better. We have certainly people here that do this 5 and 6 days a week. What we do is pretty intense. I don't necessarily think that's optimal for most of our demographic that we serve. But again, if your thing is yoga and calisthenics, maybe. you could do that every day. I mean, your body recovers fine. Also, there's probably benefits to it every day. So again, it depends on what your goals are, what you're trying to reach. But I like that 3 to 4 for the high intensity stuff. I like that 3 to 4 number.
Okay.
3 is a minimum, and then 4 even better, because then it's just kind of fun because you are training more days than you are not in a week. So I kind of like to keep someone in that range. Anything less than that, it's just, I don't think you're going to get the benefits you could out of it.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, so most people are like, oh, I should be training 6-7 days a week to come in and do CrossFit. And I'm like, no. Come off the couch and just start.
Start day one. The first trip in the door is probably the hardest. So, yep.
Once you get in, though, we take care of everything else for you.
Except the workout.
Well,
I mean, we've written it for you.
We'll walk you through it.
We'll walk you through it. You still got to do it yourself.
You've got to do it, for sure. For sure. No one's going to do it for you.
No.
That's not how you get in shape.
Unless you've got a lot of money. Then we might do it for you.
And with you.
With you.
Yeah, for sure. All right. A couple of fun ones here. Nike, Reebok, or other. I remember last time we almost forgot a couple there. Adidas. We got Under Armour.
It's like a brand loyalty.
I guess so. It's something just fun thrown out there. Nike, Reebok, or other.
Until I'm sponsored.
Yeah. You hear that? Until he's sponsored, so he's still looking, guys.
I mean, I'm personally a Nike guy. I don't know. I grew up playing basketball, and I guess Nike was kind of our thing.
Nike was the cool brand back in the day. I was one of my Nikes.
Controversial brand still.
They're getting there.
But for what we do, I like. I mean, for my shoes, I've always liked Nike stuff.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm a Reebok guy. After, of course, turning into CrossFit. But I do have a couple of. I do have an Addy Power, which is an Olympic weightlifting shoe.
Adidas.
Adidas.
They're supposed to be really good for that.
They're good. I love them. They were a little different. I bought my first pair of Reebok lifters. Felt good. Never wore lifters before. But then I got into a pair of Addy Power, and it was a huge change. Change. And you could see. I mean, realistically, I haven't worn a new pair of Reeboks in a while, but realistically, all those guys you see at the world levels doing Olympic weightlifting, either in Nikes, Romelos, I don't know how to say it, Romeos,
I don't know.
Juliets, or Addy Power. So went that route.
Oh, well, that's my power.
And you got a pair of No Bulls, right?
I do for lifters. Just
those are
cool.
Those are really cool.
Yeah, I don't know they're functional whatsoever, but they look cool.
They got that wooden heel.
Part of, I think, half of fitness is looking right while you're doing it.
You got to look cool.
I think everybody knows that.
You got to look good.
Right.
You got to have all the good equipment, right? You got to wear the belt, the wrist wraps.
Personally, don't start a workout unless everything's in place.
Unless you're all geared up.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Ready for a gladiator battle?
Right.
Yeah.
It's got to be perfect. Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's see. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? This is another one of those kind of out there questions, but what would you prefer? What would you prefer, Will? Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Well,
that one he needs a second. All the other answers were firing at you.
Look, I think the greater group of the two is objectively the Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
I think they were first. Now the problem is in NSYNC you've got JT. Now JT as a solo artist is better than both of them.
Drop
combined.
the mic.
Right. It's kind of like Destiny's Child or TLC, whatever. I mean Beyonce beats all of them.
Oh yeah.
JT beats all of them, but inside of the group, I think Backstreet Boys was a better group.
And they were first. They kind of set the stage for everybody else. 98 Degrees after that.
Yeah, and then you still had like New Kids on the Block.
Yeah. Actually, they were really the first.
What's the guy's name? Joey McIntyre is his name?
I think so. We're gonna get hit on that one.
I don't know. Everyone knows who Justin Timberlake is, though. That's my point.
That's for sure.
That's my point.
That's for sure.
I'm gonna go Backstreet Boys.
All right, cool. I'm gonna say the same thing. I'm gonna say Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, it's greater than NSYNC.
Yeah. When I heard NSYNC, I was like, "Who are these fools trying to copy?"
Right.
And then JT came out, and then it was over.
Well, you heard it here first. I think we settled it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Last but not least, last good book you've read.
Golly. Last good. Well, I don't know. I only read good books. so it'd be the last book I read.
The last book you read in general, then, huh?
I'm currently reading a book by Carl Lentz that I love called "On the Moment."
Okay.
He's a pastor of Hillsong United in New York City, but the book isn't really so much about that as it is about finding little ways to live in the moment and little wins daily in lots of areas of your life. That was a great one.
Yeah.
It has been great. I'm not finished with it yet.
It's I would feel like it's very much towards the positives in life instead of living like the negatives are getting you down.
Exactly.
Type.
It's about realizing we only have every day once,
Yeah.
and how we love each other, how we serve people, how we affect this world, how we leave our mark upon it. Seizing all the opportunities to do those things, I think, is a powerful thing. So that's probably the last good one. There's, Good to Great, Jim Collins' book has been really good. It's a popular one. But it'd be one of those two for me, I guess, right now.
Okay.
Ben Bergeron's book, Chasing Excellence, was good too, though.
That was a great book. That was a really good read. Yeah, just trying to change my mindset of the whole. He's got this whole deal with, not complaining.
Right.
Let's get rid of the complaining, the negativity, and bring towards
blame, complain, remain the same.
Complaint-free world. See, I got it on my wrist there. Complaint-free world.
Aren't you the Kool-Aid drinking?
Yeah, you know it.
Got
You know it.
Complaint-free.
And we went to go visit him.
But it's so true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like if you complain or blame, you're first of all not, by the very outset of it, you're admitting that you're powerless to change the situation, and so you are going to remain the same.
So now you're the victim.
You're the victim. It's a victim mentality. So absolutely, complaining. I love it. That's a good one, Kirby.
Appreciate it, man.
Blame, complain, remain the same.
That's right.
All right, is that it?
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay, cool. We're awesome, fun. Maybe till next time, we'll leave you with that then, I guess, right? Blame, complain, remain the same.
Remain the same.
Boom.
See you guys.
Drop the mic on that.